Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. And, of course, you know what we do. The physical delivery of gold and silver, legal, lawful, constitutional tender. You know, that old piece of paper written by those racist white guys. Amazing what they've done to the country, to the Constitution, to the founding fathers. Listen, these guys were pretty smart. And one of these days, we're going to want to go back, and I think that day is quickly approaching. You better have your house in order. Speaking of order, the librarian, Janet Yellen, is back. Listen, this is all you need to know about how messed up everything is now. Right now, Janet Yellen, lifelong government economist, worked at the Federal Reserve, became the head of the San Francisco Federal Reserve, then became the head of the central bank. Of course, you all remember Janet. There was never an amount of money she didn't want to spend. And she was one of the creators of the mythical 2% creature. You know what's so funny is I call her the librarian because to me she looks like a librarian, you know. And one, not necessarily one of those mean ones. But I wonder, you know, I always thought, you know, could you imagine all the research this woman has done? She was the superstar of Yale. Her notes were legendary, apparently, like the stuff of textbooks. The problem is, everything that she promised that she believed in, apparently, she no longer believes it. I can just imagine her at the library and someone going to the economics section to check out a book and bringing it up there. And the old librarian, Janet Yellen, looks at the book and says, oh, by the way, everything that was written in that book, yeah, we don't believe that anymore. You know, she only believes in go big, baby. Spend it all. Yeah. What the heck are we doing? She is now going to be, by the way, for those of you that don't know, maybe I should have told, she's going to be the new Treasury Secretary. Yeah, she's replacing Steve Mnuchin. And she's in her testifying in front of Congress today. But yesterday, she let everybody know we want to go big on stimulus number 2. And I guess here's where we're at as a nation. All conservatives need to go into special camps to be re-educated, right? Yeah, because we're horrible people. Well, of course, they've been telling us this for years now, right? Remember Hillary, right? Right? We're the despicable, and we need to be re-educated. Listen, we're going to get re-educated, all right. And the problem is, you know who's going to get re-educated? Is everyone that believes that you can just continue to print out of thin air with no repercussions. When does this thing end? Right now, well, I don't know when. I do know how. Right? Because otherwise, let's face it, if you really could print money out of thin air, why not just make everybody a millionaire? Right? Problem solved. Hey, forget about $600 or $1,400. I got a great idea. Let's just give everybody $1 million. Why not? Oh, wait. Well, that would be too much. It's coming. This is going to be, well, I started doing some math. I tried to do some math this morning, last night, and how much money is the government going to spend in 2021? It's going to be, my best estimate, $9 to $10 trillion in 1 year. No, that's not going to be the whole debt because we raised about $3 trillion in taxes. When we come back, we'll talk about Janet Yellen going big. I'll update you on silver. I'll update you on gold. We got a fantastic show today. We're going to talk about, okay, what happens, right? We all get it. We know what's going to happen. We're also going to talk about what do you do with the gold and the silver, right? And after the event, right? When we go digital, what do you do? We're going to talk about that as well. 800-951-0592. Got a great gold special out there. We got 1360 KHNC. Go to the blog. We got another great article up there on the blog. Continue to encourage the next generation. Listen, we are committed to harvesting the next generation of conservative journalism. 1360khnc.com. The blog site there. Give them feedback, give them encouragement, point them where they need to go, and let them go and do the work for us and come out with some great things. And then remember the CBD that we are selling. It is, I can't believe what we've been able to accomplish. There are so many people that want this station to be that beacon of hope out there. And just another great company joining forces with us to do that. We got all that and so much more. Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. The latest blog today. If you go to 1360khnc.com, you'll see the blog and talking about difficult decisions. The story, one of millions. Grandpa's Cafe in Berthoud, Colorado, in the state of Colorado stripping its license from them after they made the decision to say, hey, listen, I got to feed my family. My employees got to feed their families. You know, you got to pay your bills. You got to earn a living. In the state of Colorado, forcing them to shut down. Make sure you go out there, check it out. Also, there's a way to help support Grandpa's Cafe if you'd like to do so at 1360khnc.com. And don't forget the shop button. My Kind CBD. This is how committed people are to this. First of all, it's the best of the best when you're talking. And let me just be clear because I didn't really understand. So CBD, there's no marijuana in it. Just so you know, that's important to know. There are products out there that have CBD and THC, right? That's not what we do. CBD, this is all organic. Everything produced in Colorado. The hemp's grown there. The labs are there. You've heard me tell you. They are so supportive of our message. We sell their products cheaper than they sell them on their own websites. It's true. Way cheaper. And I won't go into, I never used it before. And I'm a little slow. I'm slow with, I had a flip phone for, I don't even know. One of these days, I'm going to get Ryan, our tech guy, to come in. I used to be his basketball coach, when he was like 13, 14, 15 years old. And he can tell you, they actually taught me how to text on my flip phone. And so I've always been a little slow to grasp things. And when My Kind actually reached out to Brian and started talking to us about, hey, how can we help each other? And we love the station and we want to be a part of it. And I didn't really know anything about it. I mean, I heard, right, things like, and of course, at first I thought, yeah, we're not interested in doing anything with weed. Sorry. Right? That's, everyone's got a personal preference. It's not something I wanted to do. Then they're like, what? No, there's no marijuana in this, and they started to explain it, and they shipped me a bunch of free stuff because they were like, wow, this guy's in. Where the heck's this guy been? Right? I mean, I talk about finance. I may not know everything, and I'm 50, and I'm a bigger guy. By the way, I'm working on becoming less big, but I'm a bigger guy. And I'll just give this example. Golf. A lot of you know I love to golf. I'm not that great at it, but I love to play it. It got to the point I couldn't play golf 2 days in a row. My body just was like, yeah, not happening, bro. And, the next morning it was tough to move, my hips, my knees, everything. And I started with their seminar because, it took us forever to get approval for this stuff. So I've been taking it, and I've been taking the tincture and the salve, and they just sent me. We got some new products coming. I'm hoping any day now. The lotion's fantastic, but I started taking it right over Christmas. I actually played golf with my buddies, and the next day I played golf with my wife and my kids. And I'm not saying that. Oh, I woke up and I wasn't sore at all. I'm not saying that. But it was like, it was manageable. It was doable. And it was just, the more I took it, the more I'd be calling Ryan, yelling at Ryan like Ryan could do anything about it. Ryan, why are we not? Where is it? We got to get it up. These people got to know. Listen, it is great. If you got, and I know it does so many other things, and, and legally, it's, modern medicine. We won't tell you that it's good for you, and you got to have all these legal disclaimers and all those things. But I'm telling you, it not only is it the highest quality, these guys have won a bunch of awards for their CBD because it's such great quality. The fact that you can prove everything's certified. We have all the COAs. We actually have the lab results. We got everything with it. But if we can just sell 10 products a day, just 10 products. Not 10 orders. 10 orders would be great, but if one person orders 3, we only need 7. If we sell 10 products a day, absolute game changer for the radio station financially. That's what my kind has been willing to do to step up with us. So make sure you get out to the shopping cart at 1360 KHNC, and we can do more of this stuff. Get more conservative voices. Get the next, which is the most important, the next generation of conservative voices out there, especially at a time like this. Right, when they're trying to silence the message and trying to act like we're the worst people on earth because we don't believe what they believe. And that's not what America's all about. So check all of those out. Make sure you go out and support those writers out there, too. I'm really trying to build something with these up-and-coming journalists. We got to get the next breed going. And I know they love it when you guys give them feedback. So right now, Janet Yellen is talking, and she's in front of the Senate Banking Committee. Right? Bunch of, let's face it, people that have no idea. If you've ever watched the questions from the Senate Banking Committee, it's almost hilarity. But again, this is my point. We've got so few choices now because there's not a textbook. There's not any renowned economist that has ever lived, that has ever believed the nonsense that they're trying to tell us today. Right? In this show, we focus in on what? What do we focus in on? We focus in on financially, what to do, right? And a lot of you out there, listen, you're watching. We just allegedly elected a guy who, by and large, doesn't even know what day of the week it is. Outside of that, let's say Sleepy Joe. How about Creepy Joe? The guy's just creepy. Lifelong politicians, lifelong government bankers, right? Janet Yellen, Joe Biden, same old, same cloth. And they want to spend, right? And act like, hey, there's no repercussions from any of this. So let's just start simply. Let's forget about COVID for a minute. Because let's face it, we wouldn't need all this aid if you didn't close the stuff down, right? We know this. But anyway, the government takes in, give or take, a couple $100 billion, about $3 trillion, okay? Without COVID, best case scenario, the government this year would have spent anywhere between $4.5 to $5 trillion, okay, which would have left us a budget deficit between $1.5 and $2 trillion. Now, we already passed another $900 billion, so let's just say 175 for split it down the middle. That would have been without any extra stuff. Now, we already approved $900 billion, so that would say we brought the spending now to 5.65. I mean, just some outrageous numbers from almost $6 trillion of spending with the $900 billion. Of that, $2.65 trillion of it deficit. Now they want another $1.9 trillion, right? That's the opening salvo, which now puts the deficit at $4.55 trillion, which brings, spending is like now you're talking about the government spending, closing in on $7 trillion worth of spending. And then Janet Yellen last night told the Senate Financial Committee that the government must act big in the next relief package. Biden, who is going to be sworn into office on Wednesday, already initiated a $1.9 trillion stimulus bill. Neither the president-elect nor I proposed this relief package without an appreciation for the country's debt burden. She said, well, we appreciate it. Do you? I mean, think about the last record deficits we had. Guess who was in charge? Janet. Right? She was there during the Barack years. But right now, she said, with interest rates at historic lows, the smartest thing we can do is act big. See? And listen, I'm so smart. Think about it. I'm so intelligent. Not me. Her. This is the smartest thing I can come up with. We got to act big. Yeah, because interest rates are low, right? And this is all you hear from them. Well, interest rates are low. Interest rates are low. We can be at all-time stock highs because interest rates are low. And the debt's okay because interest rates are low. I don't know. I got a question. I'm going to raise my hand. Of course, none of these idiots on the banking committee are going to ask. What happens, Janet, when interest rates aren't so low? Right? Now think about this. Remember after 9/11. See, people don't want to remember history. Alan Greenspan brought the interest rates down to 1%. He didn't even leave them there that long. Wasn't even a year. And they said that caused the housing bubble. Now, keep in mind that Ben Bernanke, who was now at the head of the Federal Reserve, in August of was it 06 or 07? I can't remember which year. After one of the Fed meetings, the interest rates were already at 5.25%. Okay. Was talking about, there's some froth in the subprime market. But, we may have to raise rates some more. And, of course, then everything crashed, right? Lehman went under, Bear Stearns went under, blah, blah, blah. We've been at these ultra-low rates now for what? Almost a decade and a half? How much more time do you think we really got left? Because you know how it is, right? You know, the old rubber band method. And right now, the central bank's got that rubber band stretched out to the max and saying, hey, we can still go. We can go big. When that thing snaps back, that's when the wipeout is going to happen. I believe she said that the benefits of going big far outweigh the cost. Well, the cost is total economic destruction for us. Of course, I've been saying all along, that's the plan, right? Because they want that digital money. Believe me, they do. Patriot Radio News Hour. When we get back, I'm talking about what happens after the rubber band snaps back.
No, sir.
Welcome back, Patriot Radio News Hour. By the way, just getting blown up here on the 1360 KHNC blog. Is Parler the next big social media app wrongfully regulating business? Both of these articles up in the last 24 hours talking about Parler. Parler was the number one app on Apple when they tried to deplatform it because they didn't like their message. Well, guess what? We'll take their message. Get out to that blog site, check it out, and like I said, support our riders, support the station, get those CBD products, and we'll keep doing it. Talking about where do we go from here? All of you out there listening, you know this is nonsense. Already, we were going to spend about $5 trillion. Okay. Then you added $900 billion. Then you add $1.9 billion. Now Janet's talking about we got to go big. I don't know. What are we going to add? Another 1.9, right? We're talking about the government spending somewhere between $8 to $10 trillion. And my guess is closer to 10 than 9. How about that? $9 to $10 trillion in 1 year. And they're telling you, oh, well, it's the smartest thing I could think of. Right? I wish the government could give us happiness. They cannot. And as we know, name one program. Name one that the government has come out and actually we were like, well, hey, that was pretty good. I mean, when it's all said and done, they all end the same way. A huge waste of money, nothing to show for it, and more people in poverty, period. That's how it ends up. And we know this. Listen, I don't think we get out of the Biden administration right now. I don't think Biden gets out of the Biden administration. I don't think he's competent at all. He's already the oldest president we'll ever have. On top of the fact that, let's face it, we all know his faculty is questionable. And they're setting us up for Kamala Harris. That's just where we're at here. And Janet Yellen is the one that's going to help get it done. We'll have a banking crisis. Biden's going to forget his name. Kamala Harris and Janet Yellen, they're going to ride to the rescue, and voila, digital currency time. These ultra-low interest rates, gone. Gone. Come on, you know, we're on borrowed time as it is. But what happens? Then what? What do I do? And there's really only two potential outcomes. Number one is what I think is the least likely, which is total anarchy. And I believe total anarchy will come, and I'm not just talking about civil disobedience, which is coming. It's already here, right? It's coming. It's here, right? The protesting, the rioting, the looting, all of that stuff's here, and it's going to stay. But anarchy, where I'm going to have to negotiate with the local warlord or Hell's Angels group or whatever it may be. Right? And my assumption on that means there's no power. Without power, without electricity, it's anarchy. And that's what you own silver for. That's what silver's for. Utility silver. Some call it junk silver. Right? I'm trying to rename it. But Brian is the one that's kind of, why do we call it junk? It's utility silver. Those are your dimes, your quarters, your half dollars, right? If you ever needed to buy penicillin from the Hell's Angel, you probably don't want to show up with a $20 gold piece. Probably get you killed. That's when you want to have exact change, right? Now, I think that's the least likely outcome. Now, I still think we're going to have unrest and riots and looting. That's going to happen. As it sits now, I'm sorry, I just can't believe 80 million people voted for Joe Biden. The guy doesn't even know, like I said, doesn't even know what day of the week it is, doesn't even know who he's running against. Come on. But, okay. And the other half of the country voted for Trump. And as we slip into this, and we know, right, the dollar weakness, we've talked about this and the cycles that go in with it, and we look at debts, right? We're going to add, I don't even know what the number's going to be. 4 trillion, 5 trillion, 6 trillion in 2021, something like that. Fed's balance sheet, no one really knows what it is, do we? We don't even know how much money banks are borrowing every day because they don't tell us. But when the digital currency comes, then what happens? What happens to the people that are holding gold and silver? How am I going to get paid? What's it going to be worth? And I liken it this way. If you invested $10,000 today, well, actually, let's take a better example. Let's just say you invested $100,000, because that would get you $100,000, get you one of those really nice, souped up super cab, F-350, maybe even 250 pickup truck with a bunch of bells and whistles. When the digital currency comes, that gold's going to be worth 10,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 an ounce. When you think about, and I'm just doing some quick math here. If you bought the $10 Liberties that I have on sale today, about 100,000 of them, you get about just under 96 of those $10 Liberties. And, if you think about gold goes to $5,000, which I think is light, that gold would be worth $480,000 that you spent $100 for. Right? If it goes to $10,000, you're talking about just under $1 million. The problem is all of that's going to buy. You're going to be able to buy that same loaded up pickup truck. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you how it will go. How would you turn it in, and what would you get for it? Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Janet Yellen talking about going big, saying that markets should determine the value of currencies. If that were true, then why are you adding $120 billion a month to your balance sheet, right? Obviously, if Janet Yellen was Pinocchio, the Senate Banking Committee will all have their eyes poked out today. That's absolute nonsense, and we all know it's nonsense, but she's got to say it. Doesn't mean she means it. But we're talking about if you bought today, we got U.S. $10 Liberties on sale today, $1,045. 2 10s, less than a 20. And I love it when you get a little fractional and be cheaper than the 1 ounce coins. And you invest $100,000 today. Anyone who does it, I'll give you 96. So take the cost down a few bucks if you buy 100,000 of them. $100,000 worth, I'll get you 96 $10 Liberties today. Gold goes to $5,000. And I should probably say when. You'd be looking at 480,000. Goes to $10,000. You'd be looking pretty much at $1 million. And this is the point of it. Right? It keeps you whole. Well, everybody else is getting wiped out. Right? The stock market bubble, it's going to burst. The bond market, remember I told you the bond market, rising yields is bad, right? Rising yields bad. Bond market bubble is going to burst. The housing bubble is going to burst. And they're probably all going to burst together. See, the last time we had the housing bubble and then the financial crisis, right? Boom, boom. One caused the other, whatever it may be. But you know how it goes. Every bubble gets a little bigger. And this time, it's probably going to be the housing bubble, the financial bubble, right? And then, of course, the bond market bubble, all exploding at once. And these ultra super low rates that have been artificially created by the central bank go the other way. And this is why you want to be prepared. Because what happens at the end of every good bubble? Opportunity, baby. Warren Buffett's the king of it, right? The guys that have the money, they swoop in and buy everything at ultra depressed prices. I mean, could you imagine going back to 2007 and buying as many houses as you could? Right? What a great opportunity that would have been. This opportunity will come again. This is the thing I want you to know. We're not over after the digital currency, after the bubble burst. But those of you that have prepared ahead of time are going to be able to take advantage when that happens. Right? And that's when you sell. Right? Maybe you sell it back down to the original 100,000 that you invested. Then you take the rest of it and you what? You go after things. And how do you do it? How do you get your money? And the answer is simple. Everything will be almost like a bank wire. Right? Just send it to your account. A lot of it, Venmo or Apple Pay, right? That may be the way it's done in the future. You come in with the gold, you see me or you see Jason, and you're saying, hey, here's my federal digital dollar account number. We pull it up, and we send our digital dollars to your digital dollar account, and we get the gold back. And you'd be buying gold this way now. When you do that already, right? When you think about credit cards, that's digital. Right? That's digital. But now the central bank unfortunately, probably, I hate to say it, I don't want it to survive, but it's probably going to be there in some form or fashion. Now they have all kinds of power. But the whole premise of this is to be able to, you prepare for the worst, right? Having that utility silver, having silver in general. You know how I feel about silver. I don't think you should overdo it. But of course, hey, right, if we're talking about $5,000 gold or $10,000 gold, right, you're talking about $100, $200 silver. I mean, it's the same thing. But the only thing that you won't be able to do, right, is get cash for it. Right now everything's right. The government's got to know, right? Hey, you just sold $1 million to Patriot, right? And there's going to be a record of it. But of course, hey, so what? How upset are you going to be if you spend 100,000 and you got $1 million? That's not a bad day. Now, what are the taxes going to be? And this is the funny part too. I haven't heard them. They haven't said a whole lot yet about what they're going to do. Wait till you see after they go big what they do to the taxes. But the sooner you plan, the better off you're going to be. Obviously, if you start buying gold at $5,000 gold and it goes to 10, well, you only doubled your money, right? If you start now, right, you end up with 5 or 10 times the amount. I guess that's one of the things of starting a little bit early. It's okay to be a little early, but you can't be 1 second late, can you? Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment here on this Tuesday, and talking about electronic currencies, what comes next, what's going to happen, and this is just the most likely thing, right? We know bubbles burst, and we're gorging ourselves, and right now they don't know what else to do. Right now it's gotten ridiculous. Right? $4, $5, $6 trillion of debt in a year, and they're oh no, it's going to be fine. No, it's not. We know that. They know that, and we'll probably have a huge bubble pops. And we already know, right? The whole digital thing. It's here. It's going to happen, and most likely, we're going to see a big crash like we normally do. We're going to see a lot more people in poverty like we normally do. But if you're able to be in that position where, I didn't lose my job, I kept my income, or maybe I'm already comfortably retired and I've done it right and I've got gold put away. It works the same way. Right, with one notable exception, right? You're not going to get cash anymore. Not going to be able to take cash anymore. Right, so that's another thing to remember as well. But you're going to get this. I think we're entering this super cycle period where gold's going to way outperform. We always talk about gold keeps you whole. During crash cycles, gold's going to shoot way up and be way better than whole. And this is what's going to happen again, whether we get to, is it 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever the number is. When you convert it back into that digital, you're going to be able to take advantage. And a lot of people did it the last time around. And like I said, you still, hey, I'm going to keep my original, sell off some, and I'm going to buy some distressed assets at a whole lot cheaper price. I mean, that's how you build wealth. But if you don't have the gold to begin with, you're not going to be able to do it. And it's just that simple. All your stuff gets wiped out. All your debt stuff is going to get wiped out. Right? And inflation that they say doesn't exist, Listen, I'm just telling you, have you seen food prices? I mean, and I'm talking about wholesale, like corn and soybeans, wheat, rice, flying. China's buying everything in sight. U.S. $10 liberties at 1,045. 210s, less than a 20 today. Silver Eagles, I told you I'd update you. Silver Eagles, he's booking them for now. So he threw the for now. That was new. Yeah, we're booking, 3 weeks. Now he's like, for now. So this is a day by day, at least for today. We've actually already booked a couple cases already today. But no, if you buy them, be patient. 3+ weeks. Junk silver, we should have a whole ton of silver landing all day today in both Phoenix and Colorado. So be ready for that as well. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We had rain here today in the valley, so it's a great day. God bless everybody. We'll be back tomorrow.